Getting your body ready for tennis is critically important. It'll help you perform better, it'll keep you safer and free from injury, and it'll just maintain and help increase your longevity as you continue playing, as you get older. All of us need to take good care of our bodies, and then they'll take good care of us on the court. So here's a 5-minute routine that you can follow. I want to be very clear that this is the minimum. This is like the emergency scenario where whatever, you got stuck in traffic, or your match gets called like last second, at the tournament. They're like, oh, you got to go on, and you just have a couple minutes. In the book, there was a much longer version of this, but here's your kind of cheat warm-up that gets everything moving and also allows you a little bit of time to focus on your particular problem areas. So this is just to kind of demo the movements. But I want to be really clear, you really should be doing more than this. This is the bare minimum. So let's start off with lower body first. I'm just going to move across the baseline here. But all you need is, what is this, 34 feet, I think, across the baseline. Just need a little bit of space. I'm going to start off with some butt kicks. My knees are staying pointed towards the court, and my heel is coming all the way up, as close as possible to my butt. And so this is getting your the front of your hips warmed up, as well as your quads. Next, I'm going to face forwards and do a lateral shuffle. This lateral movement's critical for tennis. Stay facing the same direction and lead with the other foot going back. And then do some karaoke or grapevine. My left foot here is going to go in front of my right and then behind. As you do this, make sure your hips swivel, and you can move your arms back and forth as well, and then go back the other direction. And the last thing we'll do for lower body, and you can spend more time on this, I'm just demonstrating the movements. The full sequence is in the book. Now I'm going to do some lunges. So take a full step and then drop your back knee. Make sure your front knee doesn't go in front of your front toes. As a bonus here, you can drop and then rotate and come up, drop and rotate and come up. And so that's lower body. Upper body, I like arm circles a lot to get the shoulders going. So you can start with small forward circles and then expand those circles and get bigger. This is a staple for me. If you've had shoulder problems, I highly recommend getting your range of motion going like this. And then you can start off going back, smaller circles, and then get bigger as you get comfortable, and go through a full range of motion. Once you get your shoulders going, getting my forearms, my hand, and my wrist moving. I do this by extending we'll start off with dominant arm forwards, and I'm going to pull on my fingers and then release. And so just a gentle pull and release. I'm not going to hold it in a static stretch. Everything we're doing here is a dynamic movement, meaning we're moving our body the way it would normally move on a tennis court. So now I'm going to pull down and release just until you feel a stretch. On this one, you're going to feel a stretch where you would normally get golfer's elbow, the bottom of your forearm. When you pull your hand down and release, you'll feel the stretch on the top of your forearm, aka tennis elbow, and the top of your wrist. And you can do the same thing on your non-dominant side, pulling back a second and release, and then down and release, just half a second or 1 second stretch and release. If you're enjoying this lesson, then go pick up a copy of my new book called Essential Tennis, because this video is taken right from it. There's 38 chapters full of insights that can help you improve your game, as well as many other videos just like this one that can show you exactly what to do to take your game to the next level. And then what I also like doing is just rotations back and forth, pivot. Make sure you release your foot on each side and allow your arms to swing around your body. And so rotational force is key in just about every tennis shot. If you don't get your torso, your midsection, your back loosened up and ready to turn and accelerate, and deliver energy back and forth, then you're asking for trouble. So at this point, you're probably through about 3 minutes or so. You can pick and choose, but to spend a little bit more time on some and less time on others. But now we've left about 2 minutes to focus on personal problem areas. And so just to demonstrate a personal problem area for me, we'll go over to the net post, and I've got a band that I'm going to use and show you a shoulder routine that I like to do to work on my rotator cuff to make sure it's ready to be aggressive and accelerate without getting it angry and inflaming it and getting pain. So the first 3 minutes we warmed up and kind of activated the lower body. We warmed up and activated our upper body. Leave a couple minutes for some focus on your personal problem areas. I've had rotator cuff issues before, and this quick routine, this is a 5-pound resistance elastic band here. You can use kind of the thin, flat elastic ones as well. I like this because it has an anchor and a handle, and so I can hook this onto anything. I use the net post a lot. And there's 4 movements I'm going to go through here. I first posted this years ago on YouTube, and if you go, there's hundreds of comments below this video from people whose shoulders have been helped by this. I'm just going to do my dominant shoulder and start off with my elbow next to my body in a 90-degree bend here at my forearm, and I'm just going to rotate inwards, keeping my elbow next to my body and rotating internally here. And so I'm pulling against the resistance. The idea here is not to make it hard or to get like, this isn't like a strength workout. It's just to activate the shoulder, the rotator cuff, get it moving and get it warmed up. And so after I spend about 30 seconds there, I'm gonna turn face the other direction, keep my elbow next to my body, keep this 90-degree bend, and now I'm gonna rotate away from the anchor point. And so now I'm rotating externally, away from my body, against the resistance. And so this is move number 2. Move number 3, I'm going to face away from the anchor point. Make sure the top of my arm is horizontal. Keep a 90-degree bend. Try to keep everything in line here, and rotate forwards. This is internal rotation again, but from an elevated position with the arm and shoulder, and try to keep your upper arm and shoulder neutral in that same position, and just rotate forwards. And in the 4th position is the opposite. Now I'm going to pull away from the anchor and try to keep my shoulder in a stable, neutral, but elevated position here. So I try to do this before every match. Anytime I know I'm going to be hitting a lot of serves, and I'd like to be able to swing freely and aggressively without worrying about shoulder pain. This has been a total life changer for me. So this is what I do. This is my kind of personal injury focus area. You should fill this time with whatever you need. If you have having problems with your back or your knees, your ankles, go to YouTube, type in whatever the problem area is, and rehab or injury prevention, keywords like that. And you can find all kinds of resources from people whose whole life is dedicated and focused on helping athletes recover from injuries. So there's your 5-minute warm-up. These are all the exercises. This video is probably longer than 5 minutes because I spent the time to explain. But once you get once you get comfortable with all the different movements, you can move through this in 5 minutes, no problem. This is the bare minimum. Ideally, give yourself at least 15, 20 minutes. I like to try to spend 30 minutes getting warmed up. See what works the best for you. Hopefully these ideas are super helpful. If you enjoyed watching this lesson, then please consider going to order my book called Essential Tennis. You can get it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or anywhere else books are sold. And you can get it in paperback, hardcover, audiobook, or Kindle as well. And it's full of 38 chapters full of tennis insights for doubles players, singles players, that really get down to the core essentials of how to play better tennis. It's received some incredible feedback from world-class players and coaches, which I'm super grateful for. So if you enjoy my lessons, and this one in particular, which is taken right from the book, then definitely go check it out. and order yours today. Thank you so much for your support.